Yes, welcome into another episode of the Calcio Connection podcast. We are connecting with you, Italian football fans from all over the world. Second episode that we've done now with all of the new imaging, the look that our guy Raf Biz has helped us out with. Biz had to sit this one out. He's taking a little trip to Jersey. He seems a little mafia to me. Like, I don't know if he's in New York. He's like, I had to make a trip down to Jersey. I feel like he's disposing of a body or something. I don't want to put his business out there. I don't know what's going on, but Biz is going to be back with us on the next one. I am Alex Donno alongside my co-host, as always, Jerry Mancini. Before I introduce Jerry, let me introduce our guest. I don't know too many people personally, like outside of celebrities. Maybe he is a celebrity who actually has his own logo, like Tiger
Like he's
Woods,
a Pokemon.
Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, Roger Federer. They all have their own logos. Richard Carmen, he is the logo, and he is from the Serie A. Sit down here.
We're all retired from sports. That's me. Glad to be on with you boys. How are you guys doing?
Dude,
Bro, you weren't Southampton
not as good as
jersey?
you.
I feel bad for you, Jerry. I don't want to put too much on you. I know the game is fresh in your mind. I thought I'd just wear this with Conte, making fun of Conte instead of
I'm not even mad, man. I was talking to my mother-in-law. Actually, we had dinner, and my mother-in-law was like, "Are you mad that Lazio lost 4-0?" I'm like, "No." I'm more bitter and disappointed when my team plays a hell of a game, loses 1-0, and I have to sleep on that. That's where I'm really bitter because I'm like, shit, man. We just lost an unfortunate match. We didn't lose an unfortunate match. We just were outplayed in so many aspects that it just gives Lazio fans a reminder that it was going to be a very disappointing but a very exciting season. Yeah, I'm very. I haven't shaved. I haven't done anything since.
I don't blame you after this today. Ooh.
No, well, I'll explain why I haven't done anything since what?
Well, I had a mustache and then now my beard's growing back in.
Wednesday. I've had a mild concussion where I've had to kind of recover from, and finally I'm starting to get better. I kind of hit my head on a I don't know,
shelf.
Shelf. That's it. Steel,
Yeah.
which kind of went through my head, and it was bleeding.
Photo.
It was kind of bleeding everywhere. And my buddy, who's a grocery manager at one of my stores, kind of helped me out. And I was really nauseous and dizzy that day on last Wednesday. So I went to get tested. I did CT scans on last Friday. I did testing with the doctor, and he diagnosed me with a mild concussion, and it was pretty bad. But yeah, it's been a kind of difficult week. Doesn't help me, along with my depression that I battle with at times, and kind of there's good days and bad days. So on top of that, so it's kind of been a difficult week. But finally, today I kind of went for a walk and starting to get better. So it's encouraging. So when I really think about it, there's more important things I'd be more worried about than a Lazio loss, to be honest. But at the end of the day, it is what it is.
Yeah, when you put it in those terms, it kind of puts it in perspective. I mean, you literally suffered a concussion this week. So, I mean, 4-0 loss in Coppa Italia is not the worst thing in the world. I don't know. Maybe there are two people on planet Earth that are having a better week than Richard Carmen.
That's right.
Yeah, Olivier Giroud, maybe Stefano Pioli. That's about it. Those might be the only people having better weeks so far than Richard Carmen. Guys, let's start with the Derby della Madonnina, which was just a gigantic 3 points for Milan. This keeps it an open race for the scudetto. If Inter had taken those 3 points, they would have a 7-point lead. Am I doing that math correctly with a game in hand?
I think so.
And so it would be essentially just about shutting the door on the scudetto race. I know there's still a lot of games to play, but it would have been virtually decisive for Inter. A draw wouldn't, better to have 2 injuries than 1 death, as they say. A draw wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world for either side, but a win was obviously gigantic for Milan. And it not only gives great hope for Milan, who are just a point behind Inter now. Inter do have a game in hand, but it's very, very close now. And it even gives hope, a lot more hope to Napoli, who are in the race, and Juventus, who are trying to get into a Scudetto race. They're back in the top 4 now. So I think a lot of people weren't too unhappy to see Milan pull that game out over the weekend. And I'll start, Richard, with the first half, which is where I'd prefer to start. being of
Start and end,
persuasion. I'll start then, and then we'll skip the second half completely. No, but we'll in the
it's like the 2005 Champions League. I understand.
Yeah, right, exactly. So, I mean, Inter looked completely in control in the first half.
Yeah,
created tons of chances, didn't finish enough of them. They did get their goal off of a set piece, a corner kick, really nicely finished by Ivan Perisic, who's having an unbelievable campaign at left wing back. I'm actually really shocked to see today Nico Schira, one of the best transfer reporters in Italy, is actually saying that he is close to inking an extension with Inter now. That one's kind of out of left field for me because I've been operating for weeks under the assumption that Perisic will be moving on and leaving the club on a free transfer. And that's, a huge reason why they went out and they signed Robin Gosens.
Right.
If Perisic were to stay, all of a sudden you have incredible depth at the left wing back position. And with the form that Perisic is in, I think he has at least another really good year left in him. Inter also left some goals on the table in the first half, but it wasn't all, because I know it's easy for people to say, oh, look how many great chances Inter missed. And I guess there were some of those, but I have to credit the goalkeeping. I mean, Mike Maignan, who has been, perhaps the best goalkeeper in Serie A this season, he really robbed Inter of a couple of tremendous opportunities on goal. Denzel Dumfries had basically a point-blank chance that he turned away. Inter had an opportunity on a shot outside the box that was deflected off the head of a Milan player, and you thought, there's no way he can react to that, right? Like, the ball changes directions 10 feet from the goal, and the hand just gets out there.
Yeah,
so,
unreal.
I mean, Richard, it was like an omen in my mind, because for as well as Inter played for the first 45 minutes, I was uneasy, right? Knowing it was just a 1-goal lead. It could have been a 2 or 3 goal lead. And then Milan turned the game on its head in the second half. They took control of the game in the second half, and then where I really thought this game was lost, and I don't say this very often because he's been very good this season, but I thought a lot of it was lost by Simone Inzaghi. I thought the midfield subs that he made, taking off Hakan Çalhanoğlu, who had been playing really well, and Marcelo Brozovic, he's the conductor of the orchestra in that midfield, and bringing on stiffs like Arturo Vidal and Matias Vecino, who honestly should have retired from football 2 years ago, at least out of Europe. And then Milan were able to find 5 magical minutes where Olivier Giroud turned back the clock to 29 years old, and he had a couple of unbelievable finishes. And then, within a few minutes, Inter had gone from, being in control of the match, a 1-0 lead, and it turned into a 2-1 Milan lead. And, there were some tussles and some shenanigans along the way. And I kind of like that. I like the extracurriculars.
That's a derby.
It's a derby, and you're kind of okay. If players from Inter and Milan hate each other, and we're going to get a couple more of these derbies now this year on Coppa Italia, there's nothing wrong with that. So that's kind of my view of the way that the match went down. Full credit to Milan. They took advantage of their opportunities. Inter didn't. Inzaghi was outcoached by Pioli, and the second half was decisive.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've had a derby with both teams at high levels, right? It's probably been 10 plus years since both teams were on the top of the table fighting during the derby. And it lived up to it, I think, in terms of intensity. It took a while for that intensity really to grow, but you love seeing that in a derby. Best derbies are when the players are hating each other and all these shenanigans are going on, as it was in this game. And so, like you said, Inzaghi and Inter came out very well in that first half. I thought they had everything spot on correctly. Brozovic was magnificent. We were talking about him on our podcast. I was saying, he was like Zidane-esque. Some of the moves he was making, going around 2 guys. I mean, looked untouchable. And obviously that goal that you guys scored, and I was like, okay, here we go. It's going to be a runaway, because I knew you guys, how good you guys were. And, 2 goals in the game is going to be over because you guys can keep scoring. But Mike Maignan really kept the team in the game, very similar to when the first time Milan played Liverpool in the Champions League. Liverpool were shelling Milan, and he kept them in the game, and then they scored 2 goals before halftime. Very similar. And so we don't miss our old goalkeepers anymore because Mike Maignan is fantastic, and really he kept us in the game. And like you said, and I think once Brozovic started tiring out, and I know people were railing on Kessie being the number 10, but I think part of it was he wasn't in there to be a playmaker. He was there to be a disruptor and to counteract the top 3 for your midfield, right? Barella, Brozovic, and Çalhanoğlu. That's what his role was, and I think that kind of affected his game where he had him get tired out around the 60th, 70th minute, and that's when he got subbed out, and that's when Brahim Diaz came in, and he started getting fouled really quickly by Brozovic and company, and eventually, like I said, the 2 goals happened, and then, Kalulu and Romagnoli did fantastic. They're our backup, defenders, so to speak, and they were stellar in that game. Kalulu was really growing. Romagnoli was excellent. And so, it was a great victory, I think, and much needed points because I agree with you. Had Inter won, the scudetto is probably over. And now, Napoli's happy now. We're happy. Juventus and Atalanta are still within reach. So it's an open race. Anything can happen. I mean, Inter are still the superior team in the league, but it's open. Anything can happen.
Well, it's funny, and I want to get your take on this real quick, and then we'll bring Jerry in. We'll introduce Mario, who has jumped aboard as well. I was ragging on my fellow Interisti a little bit over the last few days, and I get it. It's really tough to lose a derby, and it always stings. And I'm totally cool with Milanisti talking trash because I know Interisti talk trash when they win derbies. That's part of the magic of this thing. But I noticed just a number of Interisti, and there was some extra stuff that came with the match, right? I mean, Bastoni getting suspended, and he's also injured, so he would probably end up missing some of that time anyway. And Inzaghi suspended from the touchline for the Napoli match. So there were some other things that came up from the extracurriculars, but at the end of the day, Inter, they control their own destiny, so to speak, because they still are leading the Scudetto race in points. They're still in Champions League. I don't expect them to get past the round of 16. They're still in Coppa Italia, and now they get a crack to get a little potential revenge against Milan. And so, they still have, they've already won a trophy this year. They still have, 3 trophies potentially in front of them, including a Scudetto. And I see a lot of Interisti acting like they've gone into crisis mode. Yeah. They acted like
second loss.
Right. Like this is, again, like it was, a few years ago under Spalletti when they couldn't buy a point between the months of, December and March. And and they're like 8 points from top, 10 points from top. They're acting like that. It's like, guys, don't complain. And then on the flip side of it, this is what I want your take on, Richard. Juventini, they're all gassed up because they had a great transfer window, and the 2 players that they brought in both score the other day, which worked out magnificently for them.
Naturally,
they're 8 points back from the top, and that doesn't even include the game in hand that Inter have. They're 8 points back, and now they're acting like they're Scudetto favorites. So it's like, how come the Interisti can't have a little bit of that optimism?
Crack kills. I don't know, man. Drugs are bad. Look, I understand the excitement. You got a brand new player, three new brand new players, right? All players are you're bringing up the quality. Certainly, Vlahovic is a great signing. But what I was talking about this on our podcast is like, yes, they got Zakaria and they got Gatti who are gonna do well for them, but did they really upgrade that much in the midfield? That was their main issue before, and they really barely upgraded in the midfield. So yes, they got a striker. They probably got the most deathly lethal front 3 you're going to see in Europe, with the possibility of Morata. This is about Chiesa, Morata, Vlahovic, and Paulo Dybala. But the midfield is still the issue with them. And if you can't control the midfield, there's 4 teams above them. Well, 3 now. Atalanta below them. But there's 4 teams that have better, far superior midfields than Juventus have. And that's what wins you Scudettos. I think they're going to be in the hunt for sure. But I think that the teams that are around them have that midfield that can really push the envelope and get them the titles. I could see why they're happy, but right now, if I were them, I would say, hey, Champions League, not Scudetto. Like, calm down. There's only a couple teams that should be talking about Scudetto right now. So Juve's not one of them.
Well, let me introduce Mario, who just hopped in. He is a fellow Interista, so it's been an up and down week. I mean, a tough loss against Milan and a nice bounce back against Roma in Coppa Italia. But Mario, what was your view of that derby where Inter first half fully in control, pissed it in the second half? Who do you blame for that? What went wrong in your eyes?
It's just one of those things where you do everything right, but you lose. The first half, we could have put 8 goals in. Milan could have had 5 goals in the first half, let's say. It was back and forth. It was a good game for what it's been recently. I think this has been one of the better derbies. That being said, to put the blame on anybody, I don't know. It's just the luck of the draw. Like Interisti on Twitter blaming the referee. What are you gonna do? What happens? He won the ball. He went through the player.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't give the call. You got to score the goals in that kind of case. You can't blame the ref. I always say you can't blame the referee because you didn't score.
I agree.
Magnan he played phenomenal. He had a lights out game. So, I mean, credit to him. He stopped literally 3 goals that were off deflections where he's going one way and then all of a sudden, boom, save over here. It's unfortunate for us. Milan, Giroud scored 2 goals in 5 minutes. Nice goals, too. I don't even care.
Oh, really nice goals. The stretch and the turn, really nice.
You can't really blame anybody but the people that couldn't score. Zeko should have scored. Lautaro should have scored. Sure, yeah, but collectively, they got to do better. And once Bastoni got hurt, I instantly went onto Caesar's Sportsbook and I put $50 on Milan and I put $25 onto Napoli. That's
wow.
So yeah.
Jeez. Oh, so you're putting your money where your pessimism is. Okay, yes. Fair enough. Well,
I can't lose.
let's bring Jerry into the fold on this one. I know you were watching the Derby intently. We're not going to talk about today's result yet. We'll get to it, but let's go back to Saturday, Jerry. Your view on the Milan Derby and what were the big factors on how Milan were able to turn the game on its head and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat?
Oh man, I don't remember shit from that game. I'm gonna be honest.
You were concussed, like you're amnesia.
I watched it, but what was that echo? What do I hear? Echo.
Oh, it's better. I think it's better now. Yeah, I was hearing that too.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Let's sum it up very easily. Inzaghi does it again. His tactics, his substitutions, they kind of let him down, and that's something that was always an issue with Lazio, and he did the same with Inter. And I was looking at the substitutions and some of the players he brought. He took off Martinez for Sanchez. I don't see any issue with that, but I think like Federico Di Marco was an issue.
I didn't like that.
He stinks.
Not that he stinks. I wouldn't say that. You got to use him. You got to use him to mid-table players, mid-table teams. That's what you use him for.
Right, because he stinks.
No, I don't like saying that word because it stinks.
He's the same thing. He stinks.
He's in the city. He's playing in the top league, so he did something to get there. Right?
He's good at the smaller teams where you need less expectations.
He's good at free
there's
kicks.
More responsibility to kind of just be the guy. So
I think he can't handle the pressure against like the top teams, but that's where I say his rotation. That's where you use him in a game like yesterday, maybe in the Coppa Italia, and you don't use him on Saturday, and you kind of use your best players till the end. Like Hakan didn't even start on Tuesday versus Roma in the Coppa Italia. So why not just let him play till the 90 minutes? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're not going to use him on Tuesday, and that's the manager's responsibility to understand like who you're going to use, how much you're going to use, all that stuff has to be into consideration. And you take him out, but why? Why do you take him out if you're not going to use? In that situation, if you're going to take a player out early, then I'm kind of convinced that you're going to use him on Tuesday. Who else did he take out? In like
he took off Brozovic.
Perisic was another mistake.
Yeah.
Perisic, man,
he's so good.
He's been your best.
He's probably been Inter's best player now overall for a long stretch of the season.
As a wingback, well, Miricic is a wing back, but he kind of reminds me of Miricic in a way that he kind of is an inverted player where he kind of transitioned from winger to an actual wing back and can play on both sides, Perisic. And he's become like very adaptable. And man, Perisic is so good. He was amazing on Saturday. He had a really good game. I thought yesterday he had a good game, and taking him out kind of it hurts him because Darmian, I saw Sharma, he said a good point that he hasn't been the same since Dumfries has taken his position.
Yeah, I thought that like Darmian in the Roma game, I thought he looked
Wasn't
pretty
good.
bad. A lot of cheap
Better in the
giveaways.
second half, I thought. He
Yeah.
played better in the second half.
I thought he and D'Ambrosio both looked pretty bad. They were giving away the ball very, very cheaply. Like every time Inter were trying to work one of their cheeky counter attacks where they usually, you know, pass up the field very fluidly, one of the two of those bums were screwing it up every time.
I'll also add that Stefan De Vrij, what the F happened to that
Bad.
guy?
Nightmare.
Wow. Like that goal never happens last year where he goes the wrong way. Never. I don't know if age is already catching up to him because of how much he's played. He kind of. I know that Acerbi is 3 years older, but in a similar situation, I think the two kind of like they offset each other where they played such incredible amount of playing time in such a condensed schedule because of the summer and everything that these two players have they can't keep up with the amount of playing time now, and it's really kind of hurt their game. So
to be fair, I thought that move by Giroud on De Vrij was just fantastic. I don't think anybody, but it was a one-touch move, a beautiful move. I think Handanovic is more the GOAT on that one because he really could have stopped that. He really should have stopped that.
Put
right?
it right under his hand.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think De Vrij really had no chance at all with that because Giroud did that magnificently. And I think you put anybody back there, Koulibaly, whomever, he would have done the move past them. You know, he just one move and shot. It's Handanovic who really would look 95 years old there.
And Handanovic is a big problem, man. Like you said, it looking 95. You know, and I know I don't know, Mario, aren't you like a Handanovic fanboy?
I'm still on Handanovic
Still?
FC. I'm never giving up. He's been a
Let
top
go.
keeper.
Just let go. Okay.
What?
Well, you can't. No, man. Like that. Hold on. That second goal is not his fault completely. It takes a
No.
bounce on him too, man. Did anybody look at the bounce? What happened? Where it hops on him and kind of like fools him. It's not. People gotta look. That's not an easy save. Like as Giroud makes that kick, it bounces and it kind of like goes over his hand, so it kind of makes it difficult. Guy, he's 37 years old. What do you fucking want? Miracles?
And that's my only point.
Like that's like what do you want, man?
37
Look how he
years
played
old.
yesterday. He made an outstanding save off balance and got it over the net.
No, he did. Yeah, that deflected one. I know.
He
Yeah.
still got it. I don't care what anybody says. Jerry. I'm with Jerry on this one because
Like, what
you
do
can
want,
have.
man?
He had a great save on.
He's not
Tonali as
Pepe
well.
Reina, guys.
Listen,
He's not
that's
Pepe
true.
Reina.
That is
No,
true.
he's not
Remember
Pepe
that.
Reina. But the thing is
Remember
with Handanovic is like age has caught up to him to the point where like he is still capable of making nice saves and he's still capable of turning in great performances from time to time. He doesn't have the consistency anymore. And believe me, if not for the financial problems with Suning, they wouldn't have even waited as long as they had. And by the way, Onana's been kind of shaky since he came off suspension. So I hope he figures his shit out by the time he gets here in the summer.
You have to understand, Handanovic is still a world-class keeper. There's not many people that can be 37. Buffon. You know, who else is there?
Figo knows the truth. You can stop protecting
Handanovic
Handanovic.
is going to Lazio next summer.
He's been so good. The saves he makes, he keeps us in half the games.
No, seriously, Richard.
He makes 2-3 saves and they're huge.
He's gonna go to Lazio because he'll get a starting role, and he's I think he has like a history or something. He had like time with Lazio. Apparently, someone was telling me before. I don't know if that's true. If there's like a history with
him and Sarri have a good relationship?
I don't know. There's like a recollection or something in the past where he spent time a little bit with Lazio.
Okay, I need the timeout because Lord Figo over here has probably never played keeper in his life. I'll put
Lord Figo plays keeper every single day, bro.
Okay,
There's nothing that guy doesn't do.
So when you say it's an easy save, how is it an easy save?
Magnon would have saved it.
So,
When your hand is that close to it, it's saying that's a stoppable ball.
Nothing's an easy save. He turned. He probably had De Vrij blocking him for a half a second, and it's not like he passed the ball to him and went through his legs, and he's got his head between his legs. It's not an easy save. He has to get all the way down. He's 6'5". It's not like me, 5'7". I get down 2 seconds. You got to fall. It's not easy. Those low hard shots are hard for any keeper. I see people say it every single time. Oh, it's an easy save, easy save. Sometimes yes, but most of the time it's really not. Like you have to understand how fast the ball travels and how little reaction they have. Like sure, Magnan might have saved it. Great, Magnan's a phenomenal keeper. He had an excellent game. I wouldn't be surprised if he saved it.
So get me a keeper like that. Why are we still? Because the thing is, like Handanovic. Well, all I'm saying though is 3-4 years ago, Handanovic makes those saves. That's my entire point. Like you can talk all you want to, but that was a really difficult save, and he's not perfect. But okay, Handanovic, when he was in his prime, is making these saves. And when you're talking about being a defending scudetto champion who's trying to win that again and trying to win important trophies, you should have moved on from this guy already. But they haven't done it, at least not to this point, because of the budgetary constraints.
Okay, he lets up that goal. He saves 4 other goals that goalies probably won't save. You forget about that part. It's not just he let up the goal. He saved 5 other ones. He's saving a bunch of other ones that yes, a lot of other keepers will let in. So okay, sure, he couldn't get down fast enough. Okay, his distribution is better than Radu, the next best in line. His save, his command, everything is better than the next person in line. Onana comes in. I feel like the way people explain Onana to me, I haven't watched him because I really don't give a shit. They're gonna shoot the ball at his hands like this. He's gonna make a save, and it's gonna go through his hands into the goal.
He's a good keeper. He'll be good for you guys.
He had a season off though, man. You don't know how he's.
He had about a year off for taking. He had a year off for taking for PEDs, whatever supplement he was on. So I mean,
he was great at Ajax. He was great at Ajax.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, when you're on drugs, why not, man? Whatever the fuck he did.
Get him back on the drugs, bro.
What did he do?
Get him to Atalanta.
I don't care. He's still up there in the pecking order as top goalkeepers. He makes one mistakes, but he's saving a lot of other shit. Like you can't replace him right now.
What is this?
I don't care.
Lazio Ultimate Banter Club. How many 4-0 is Lazio? Well, last time I recall, Lazio's ahead of freaking Roma now in the standings. So pipe down, boy. Freaking, it's been since I can banter Roma all day. Since May 2008 was the last time you guys won a trophy. Keep raising that tree and keep watering it. Or where do you want to go? we can keep going if you want.
So let me leave one more thing on Handanovic before I stop talking about this. So you're comparing him to Handanovic in his prime, right?
Yeah,
up here.
That's
top
the
echelon.
I need. Okay. That's defending a scudetto, trying to advance in Champions League. That's the guy I need.
Okay, so that's who you're comparing to.
Yeah,
top keeper. Where is he right now? Is he here?
If he was here, I think he's like here.
Okay, and that's still.
This is great for the people listening only on audio.
Yeah, okay, so he's on my head, and now he's on about my nose. So he's not. He's fallen off. Yes, I 100% agree. But when the fall off is still better than 95% of the other keepers in the world, I'll take it. It's not that much of a fall off. He gives up a goal. Sure, he should have saved it. Okay, fine.
But was that good enough for a Scudetto team? Is the question.
Okay, who are you going to replace him with?
Fair enough.
No, but my point is you should
Onana's going to jump in and beat Handanovic up here when he can't handle the African Cup of Nations.
Yeah, fair point.
I hope.
I'm all for Onana coming in and be better. I pray to God it does. But we don't know how certain he is. We don't know the level he's going to be. And we're comparing Handanovic to Handanovic in his prime, which he wasn't even in his prime. He's way past his prime. He's still on the decline, but he's still up there. You got to remember that. Like, I take this Handanovic shit seriously.
I could tell, and I think you're grasping at straws here. But I wanted to move on to one more thing on the Derby, kind of, and then I want to move on to these Coppa Italia quarterfinals.
Oh, man. I'm with Mario, man. You don't know what you're gonna get out of Onana.
No, you're right. Listen, Onana's been a little shaky.
Okay, Ajax is Ajax, but their league, the Dutch league, what is it considered? Even top 10 league? What's the competition?
It's a good attacking league. He's probably facing a lot of shots in that league.
No, get out of this, man.
Facing a lot of shots in that league. Target practice.
No, when you got Mike, hold on. When Mike Magnan went to Milan, it wasn't that they just got some goalkeeper down the street. They got a goalkeeper who plays in the top 5 league. Okay, who
French
plays,
top 5, Farmers League, French league.
No.
It's like England. It's like England.
Best players come out of some of the best players come out of League On.
That's true. Farmers League. Yeah. You farm the best players out of that.
League. Liao? Where did Liao come from?
A lot of good players come from Netherlands as well.
Where did Eden Hazard come from? League On.
Belgium.
Yeah, and you notice they all left that shit league. Is the thing. Like if you're not playing at PSG, as soon as you get to be like old enough to drive a car, they're going to sell you to a bigger league for a profit.
It doesn't matter if
I think goalkeepers.
The players are coming though. There's good you don't know what you're going to go to Onana. A year off is a very long time. You don't know how the player comes back. Listen. Look, he shit the bed in this freaking. He wasn't good in this African Cup. Like mentally, how does these drugs mentally like listen, everything?
But my point though, it's not even talking about Onana. It's that if not for the fact that they have these budgetary issues and they didn't prioritize keeper, they could have gone out and gotten somebody like Juan Musso. Like they could have gone out and gotten a younger keeper who already knows Serie A and has played well, a Cranio, a Musso. Like they would have gotten somebody like that if not for the fact that the Chinese ownership, their debt, their balance sheet has been upside down, and they're having to, they're having to work the books very carefully.
Are they close to Handanovic's prime?
Yeah,
which we're comparing to.
Well, and if nothing else, Mario, not only could I think any of those keepers compete with him for the starting job, you could actually trust them to spell him and give him some rest because you don't really have a backup keeper because Radu is not a good keeper. And before that, it was even worse when they had Daniele Padelli, who's like an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. And like Radu is like maybe slightly better, like an inch better than Padelli is. But, Conte didn't trust this guy enough to play him. Inzaghi doesn't trust this guy enough to play him. At least if you had bought one of these like young Italian or Argentinian keepers playing in the league, like they could actually spell Handanovic because that's probably part of the issue as well. 37-year-old past his prime who has to play every single night because you don't have another option because you can't trust your backup to stop anything.
I'm with you there. Don't. But are they going to win the scudetto for us like Handanovic did apparently? That's the thing. I don't think they're even close to it. As good as they are, they're still good keepers. I just don't think they're there within the next 4 or 5 years. They're young. They're too young for it. Backup, sure, fine. But to put them in there and say, hey, this guy's better than Handanovic in the 2021 season, I doubt it.
All right, let me get into I can't even believe I'm doing this, but it was all over the Italian papers and all over Twitter for like 3 days. Spitgate. It's like now listen, like as an Interista, I'm a lot more concerned with blowing that game and losing that game than I am with like the thermal footage and the super slow-mo of what may or may not have been coming out of Lautaro Martinez's mouth. It looked to a lot of people like, when Teo Hernandez was sent off and going through the tunnel, like Lautaro looked like he was spitting on him. I think it's kind of funny. And Richard, let me start with you on this. And I don't know. I mean, listen, you're a Milanista, but I don't know. I don't even know if this one like really matters, like who you root for. I watched like different angles and different videos of this, not even on purpose, like 1,000 times because I couldn't avoid it because it's all over my timeline. Yeah. And like, the thing about it is, like, I'm sure he yelled something really nasty at Teo. Like, I'm sure that whatever. I think you could read his lips. I think "puta" was uttered in there, so he was saying some very not nice things to him. But I must have watched this 1,000 times, and I didn't see any spit. And like people can call me biased because of the colors that I'm wearing and but it's still like, and maybe I am, but like I didn't actually see any spit. So I don't know how people thought that these videos were proof when I don't see any spit.
Yeah, people were like, they were like saying, "Oh, I definitely saw it." Like I saw it a million times, and there's a couple of footages where it looks like something was splotted on the glass potentially, but you can't really tell what it is. I'm like,
the glare.
If something happened, look, if he did do that, it's disgusting. He should be, something should happen to him. But if he didn't do it, he didn't do it. I mean, I'm not worried about it. Milan just won the Derby. I don't really care, honestly. Right. There's a lot worse things that could have happened that was a bit more blatant.
Did Teo say anything about it?
I don't think so.
I think if somebody was spit on, they'd be like, "Yo, he spit on me."
Yeah, I'd be pretty pissed if I got.
I haven't heard it yet, so
yeah. I mean,
and that's the least of my worries, honestly, with that. If it happens, it's not. It's hopefully it didn't happen, but if it did, hopefully they'll take care of it. But I'm not worried about it, honestly. A lot of people are really worried about it. I'm like, whatever, man.
Well, and the crazy thing about it was, you could understand if it was just Twitter banter, but it's like it's front page of some of the Italian newspapers, which is crazy. It's I mean, do you have any opinion on it, Jerry? Did you think he spit or no?
Oh, I already spoke about this on Twitter.
Oh, I didn't see.
I want evidence. I want proof. I want real.
Was it Seinfeld?
hardcore-
The
It
spitting
was the
incident?
second spitter.
Yeah,
from
I
the
saw
grassy
that.
knoll.
Well, it's like, oh yeah, he's bad. Like, hold on, Taylor. You know what? I actually would have condoned him maybe if he did it because Taylor Hernandez just makes me nervous now. I'm sorry, I can't stand the motherfucker. But
I mean, he deserves a punch in the face, but
does.
not
Oh,
spit in the face.
fuck,
Though.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He deserves an elbow
I
in the
love
face.
Teo. I love Teo.
But I hate him. But no, I don't think Lautaro spit on him because if he did, you would have saw a bigger reaction, and he would have actually came full force, and he would have spoke about it too. He would have made it a bigger issue than what people are making it. I think it's just spit from a guy. If that's even spit on a window that people are showing, and if for any case that is, maybe he's actually when he's talking, spit comes out of his mouth because let's remember these guys are drinking water, they're playing a sport. There's a lot of like when you're very excited or animated, right? Anything like that, heat in the moment, you kind of like spit comes out, right? You're not talking normal. So at the end of the day, guys, it's I just don't think. I think it's being blown out of proportion,
causing him to drop his baseball cap. The spit then splashed off the wrist, pauses in midair, mind you.
I love that clip.
I wanted to take it down pretty quickly because I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a copyright on that. So I'm hoping we don't get pinged for that. But I had to throw that out there.
Yeah, it's just move on. I'm surprised that Milan fans are making this bigger than, especially the fact that they won. Like, there's no need to like kind of be happy you won and just move on. Like that's all I can say. But I will say that. Oh my God. Taylor Hernandez is such a dirty player. I'm sorry. He's not. Today he took a shot.
There are worse.
Today, no, but he's up there now, man. He's getting up there. The fact that he takes that stupid challenge on Lazio at the end there, not needed. He just goes right into his leg. He does it against Inter with Dumfries, and he slide challenges him. And luckily, Dumfries never got hurt, like nothing severe. It's not the and then I gotta see Teo on the floor look like he's dying like a squid. Like, come on, man. Like, get the
Well, he grew up idolizing Busquets, so it's natural that he'd try to emulate him.
man.
Right.
The guy could be a better player if he didn't like get so angry and challenge people with reckless challenges and like flop to the floor constantly. Like, man, Ciro Immobile is getting better. Today he was on the floor and he didn't ask for a foul from I believe Kalulu. He got right back up and acknowledged that it was just with Magnan. And Magnan came in and he never like pleaded for a foul, nothing. He just kept on going. Like, yeah, Cuadrado is worse, but he's up
dirtier.
there.
Yeah.
He is dirtier.
The game was
he's
lost
up
already
there.
anyway, so there's nothing to flop for.
No, it was 1-0 at that time when he fell on
It
the
was still
floor.
over. It was still over.
Hey, if we score a goal anytime, you know what? A goal can. What the fuck is happening here? Oh boy.
Are you watching Oilers playing?
Yeah, they're losing 2-0.
It seems like the Oilers play every time we do an episode.
It does. Every time I've been on, the Oilers have been playing. Every time.
They were on last week too. I guess they play every
They're
Wednesday.
such a weird team. They're good, then they're not good for like 6 weeks, and now they're like okay again. And they're like, I think they're going
That's
to
why
be good for the
they're
rest
so
of the season.
stressed all the time between Lazio and the Oilers. It's
They're like Lazio. They're like Lazio.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
Jerry,
no.
just pick a good team.
Well, I don't. That's another thing, guys. Like we're born to like cheer for Inter, Milan, Juve. Like we grow up and we don't know the path of like who we're going to be cheering for. We don't know when we're 5 years old.
You're talking about our guy who's a frequent guest on the show, Chris DeSantis, who, like, I seriously, and we got to bring him back on the show soon. He's a good friend of ours, but I'm starting to worry about his mental state because he is so dedicated to Roma that it's like, and I know our guy Ivano is in the chat. We love you as well, but it's like, if you're going to be as dedicated to living and dying every moment of Roma football, like, you've got to have some hobbies. Like, because if you just focus 100% of your energy on Roma, it's going to be a very, very difficult year. And our guy Chris gets so wrapped up on everything Roma. Like, he's actually in Italy now. I don't know. Like, Chris has been to like 4 matches this season. Has Roma ever won? Like, maybe he might be the problem, guys, because Chris goes to a lot of Roma matches and
didn't help Lazio either.
Yeah, he went to both of the Coppa quarterfinals. He went to see Inter beat Roma yesterday. He went to watch Milan just humiliate, Jerry, Lazio today. And so just teams from Rome do not win when that dude is in the stadium. And so, and like Chris, who's really miserable because he's a Roma supporter, he was tweeting about how, like, oh, it's really easy for people to choose, to cheer for clubs like, Inter and Juventus and Milan. And okay, like, maybe over the years there have been some bandwagon jumpers. Like, I'm sure that there are plenty of Inter fans who maybe hopped on board like right around the treble season. I'm sure there are Milan fans who hopped on during some of the Champions League victories and all that good stuff. And Juventus fans, plenty of chances to jump on the bandwagon domestically, although they do nothing in Europe, but domestically, plenty of chances to jump on the bandwagon. But it's like, I mean, if you get the stories from most Calcio fans, it's not usually that simple, right? Like, for me, like, I never just chose Inter. Like, my father indoctrinated me. My father grew up in Milano. His father cheered for Inter. My father indoctrinated me the same way that I'm attempting to indoctrinate my son. I think, he's getting there, but the jury is still out on that one. So it's like, I didn't choose Inter. Like, I don't know, Richard, how did you, were you a bandwagon jumper for Milan, or does it go back a little bit deeper than that?
I mean, I guess in a way you could, for us Americans, it's difficult because we have limited to so many games, right? And so, like, first game I saw was I used to watch Champions League. That's where my first indoctrination into Italian soccer was, and I saw Milan in the Champions League, so that's how I gravitated towards them in like '95 or something like that. So I guess you could say it was a bandwagon, but it's all I had. I had a limit of whatever was in Champions League, So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. That's fair enough. Well, what about you? And Mario, you support like 6 clubs. Like, you're a Palermo supporter, Napoli supporter, Inter supporter. How did you find your various teams?
So I chose Inter because they won the treble in 2010.
You're the guy. You're the okay. All right. Fair enough.
I chose Inter when I was young. My dad always supported Palermo. So back in the day, we didn't have Palermo to watch on TV. It was all, like Inter, Milan, Juve. So I watched Ronaldo, a lot of Ronaldo all the time because they used to have Giostra da goal. So they show all the goals, and usually Ronaldo's doing some crazy shit. So I watch him. I'm like, yo, this guy's the best player in the world. I love him.
Good.
So then I was just like, I'm an Inter fan from there pretty much. And then when Icardi, the whole saga, I became a Juve fan. And since I joined Napoli group chats, I'm a Napoli fan. I'm a Milan fan also in Milan chats.
Wow.
I'm the biggest Milan fan. Thank you. I'm very satisfied with the game today. I thought we played a very.
I noticed you didn't say Lazio though.
Actually, no. Lazio, when I was younger, I used to love Lazio. They were 2001, 1999, 2000 when they won the scudetto. My favorite team of all time.
Honestly, I never had any beef with Lazio, and like I grew up watching Serie A, like going back to the glory days, like even before I knew Jerry. Like, I never had any beef with Lazio. Obviously, I always hated Juventus, and use the word hate, like the whole rivalry thing. I kind of do hate them though. I always disliked Milan, the rivalry. And it's actually kind of ironic that I've never, and again, like, don't take this the wrong way to the Romanisti in the chat. Like, I've always kind of been annoyed with Roma, and actually the reason is like the opposite of what Chris was saying. I knew, like, not even high school, college age, I had a lot of friends who had like no reason to be Serie A fans, but they decided to just support Roma because they like Totti, who of course brilliant player, and they think the city of Rome is awesome, which it is. But it's like they jumped on the quote unquote bandwagon because they thought, oh, these colors are really nice. Totti's a great player. Rome is a cool city. So I actually knew a lot of people that for whatever reason jumped on a Roma bandwagon like back in the day. So I've always kind of been annoyed with Roma for that. I've never really had any beef with Napoli except for like Sansone and Azzurri fan Phil talking a lot of shit. Like that's my only beef with Napoli. Other than that, like I'm cool with most of those clubs.
I love Napoli.
All right, so let's move on to real quickly. We'll go through these Coppa Italia quarterfinal games from the last couple of days. Inter got the 2-0 against Roma. It was the score line made it look like it was a little bit more convincing than it was. I was bracing myself for Roma to equalize throughout the second half before Alexis ended up scoring a beautiful banger that made it 2-0, and we could all exhale a little bit after that. But I mean, Mario, I'll start with you on this one. I thought it was very, very important for Inter to bounce back midweek because, again, a lot of Interisti were acting like the club was in full crisis coming out of a very tough result against Milan in the derby, and it felt like the sky is falling for a lot of people. And I felt like there was just this expectation that the Milan derby was going to kind of ruin the rest of the season, and now Inter are just going to look shambolic every game they play from this point forward. So I think bouncing back and getting that win against Roma was really important, and both the goals were absolutely beautiful. I mean, Inter got their first goal just a couple minutes into the match, really their first attack. Alexis had that really nifty header to put it down for Perisic, who whipped in a beautiful cross, and then go figure, Edin Dzeko. The guy misses so many sitters, but he tends to score the more difficult ones, right? Like you give this guy a volley like that off a fastball of a cross, and he puts it in the back of the net, no problem. And Dzeko is making a habit of scoring against Roma this season, so he's been enjoying playing against his former club. And then in the second half was when Alexis got the goal that really put the nail in the coffin for Roma, and that was an unbelievable, beautiful goal from outside the box, picked out the top corner, and there was really nothing Patricio could do to stop that one. So your big takeaways from the match, Mario?
Definitely a good result. People forget that Milan's still a good team. They're not a bad team. It's not like we lost to the worst team in the league. Milan. Right. They're up there for their scudetto contenders, and if you're going to lose the game, I don't mind losing to a Milan, to a Juve, to a Napoli. You're going to lose those games. It's going to happen. You can't go undefeated. So, like I always say, you're going to win the league off of every other team. You make between the 4th position and the 20th position, you make a shit ton more points winning those games than you do against the 2 games against Milan. You lose. Not the end of the world. Sure, it sucks to lose a derby, right. But whatever. But to beat Roma, who everyone thought was going to be some sort of resurgence at the beginning of the season, they're going to push for scudetto, this and that. Tammy Abraham, great. They stink. It's because playing in the Coppa Italia, sure, yeah, everyone's like tank the Coppa Italia. Let's just focus on the league. You got to play every game, and you got to play every game to win. I don't care what anybody says. You're in there for the trophies and for the success. Coppa Italia, it's a trophy. You play to win. Inzaghi's not looking at it as, it's just a Coppa Italia. Nobody gives a shit. That's some stupid made-up fan perspective that they get where they go on Reddit and then 37 other people upvote it because they're retarded. And it doesn't work like that. He has a job. His job is to win. So he's going to do everything he can to win. If he's going to rest players, he's going to rest players because you can't play some of these guys every game. But to show that to come back like that against a team like Roma, who I don't think is that great, but it's still an exclamation point that we go out there, we beat everybody that's in front of us. We lost to Milan, big deal. We're going to win every other game that we can. And Roma's just it's almost like it's the perfect next game, regardless of what competition it is. You had Alexis, who's been on fire. He was playing playing excellent. I want to say I want to give him an excellent from what I remember because I was kind of on and off watching, but from what I saw, he was top tier.
Sorry. Who did you say was top tier?
Alexis.
Yeah, I mean he had some moments
some
of
moments where he was-
frustration, which is kind of typical for Alexis, and then enough moments of brilliance to outweigh that because the goal was beautiful,
Yep.
and I mentioned you could call it a
build
hockey
up to the
assist
first
that he
one.
had. Yeah, the build. He was. I mean he's so creative. Like yeah,
always
I
finds
love
a way.
watching him play.
He might be a little bit underwhelming at times, as every player is, but
Yeah.
the positives have definitely outweighed the negatives, and he's been so important to us this season. When people were saying get him off the books in January, I was like, no, why are you going to get rid of him? Who are you going to replace him with? You have to replace him if you're going to, and we don't want to spend apparently. Whatever, that's a different story.
Don't want to, can't, either way. One of those.
Then you had Darmian on the right side with Skriniar at the time, I believe. Yeah, he started on the right and then moved to the left.
Yeah.
Darmian was annoying because he was getting himself in the right positions, did everything right until he got to the ball at his feet, and then he had to make like a perfect pass, but couldn't. So that's the difference between world-class players like the Roberto Carloses, the Maicons. They're going to make that pass every single time with their eyes closed.
Yeah.
Darmian, step below, you're going to miss those, and he hasn't been playing as much, so whatever. Good to see that he was getting minutes, though. Who else was I want to talk about? Barella played.
He was excellent.
Top tier.
Yeah.
He's so good.
Very good.
I'm glad you brought him up because I
Yeah.
forgot to earlier. In the
hit
Roma game, he was fantastic.
He ran the show.
He had a couple of really nice outside the box shots. One of them forced a brilliant save that was marked for the top corner, and then he put that laser off the crossbar early. It was good stuff from him.
He was good. Who was it? It was Dzeko, Alexis to start, and then Lautaro came on. So I like that. Dzeko's hold-up play is just so good. He's just so smart on the ball and off the ball. Like I said, even if he's missing those sitters, it sucks, and it's really painful to watch at times. But everything he does before and after that, it just makes total sense, and it allows us to play as freely and get forward in the way Inzaghi wants it. And you can't do that with Lautaro all the time because his hold-up play shoddy sometimes, where he's trying to do his flicks, he's trying to do his bullshit. But Dzeko's consistent on his hold-up play and his link-up play. Like, he was receiving the ball in between the midfield and our 18. He was in that space, creating attacks, taking 20 yards of space to himself, and then playing a ball. He was taking on defenders. He was outpacing who was it? Mancini, I think it was. This is a 35-year-old striker that we said, oh, we're lucky to get 15 goals. We're lucky if he can still play. You guys putting in a consistent shift every time. The goals not flowing as much as we want it to because, like you said, they're sitters.
He's always in the right positions.
Always.
He just doesn't always finish.
And so his influence is just unmatched.
Oh, and by the way, another one, Skriniar.
Yes.
Now, I don't think it would have even counted because it would have been offsides, but that ball when Handanovic was way off the line and Zaniolo, beautiful ball. He had to put a perfect angle and spin on it. And then Skriniar, like freaking Superman, flies in and heads it out of the way. Again, I don't think it would have counted because I think the flag was up, but that was incredible.
Like, the effort from Skriniar is just it's top tier. Him, De Vrij, Bastoni, the three of them have been so reliable this year. It sucks that Bastoni's gonna miss some time with the sprained ankle.
I'm actually jealous of Richard's jersey collection because I've got like a ton of Inter jerseys and a couple of Azzurri jerseys.
You can't see it, but that back thing is like a lot of jerseys in there.
Oh,
yeah, I got it in my closet right over here. I got a shit ton. I just got I got a couple from away days, if you ever know about that, where they send you random jerseys.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah. I got some of them too. They're nice.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I got like a Hearts of Midlothian and a Dijon from France. So just some random jerseys.
I got some random like Ecuadorian team and like
I got what's it called?
Fourth tier German team like
Emelec. I got an Emelec jersey from them.
Wow.
That's who awesome. I got. That's who I got.
For $25, they send you a random jersey. I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take it. I love it.
So a couple more things I want to get to before we wrap up this episode. As a result of these Coppa Italia matches, and don't worry, we will get to Milan Milan Lazio and what happened in that game. But based on the results, we get 2 more Milan derbies, which I think is excellent because, like Richard so perfectly said it earlier on in the show, I mean, both teams are really good this year, and they're fighting for first place. And I know that Coppa Italia won't have any direct impact over that, but you do have a trophy down the road on the line here, and it's 2-legged, right? You're going to get, I think Milan will be officially the home team in the first leg, Inter officially the home team in the second leg. And Richard, I'll start with you on this one, just based on what we're seeing here as renewed bad blood in this rivalry. And I know Inter feel like they have some unfinished business coming out of that match from the other day, just based on the way that they blew it in the second half, and also based on all the little skirmishes we had throughout the Teo Hernandez situation. Lautaro, did he spit? Yeah. Did he not spit? I love the fact that these teams are going to play twice more, and it's making me. I mean, you always want to strive for trophies, but getting this matchup is making me more excited for a Coppa Italia semifinal than I ever would be otherwise.
Yeah, too bad it's not going to be a final matchup, right? Because I think that would be the ultimate right there. But the downside of that is that they're 6 weeks apart. Like, be like a week apart, something like that. But yeah, it's going to be fun. Honestly, in that game, I don't necessarily want to win. I just want a competitive showing, right? And I want to see both teams really going at it. And if Milan gets to win, great. Happy. But as long as they're competitive, as long as it comes down to like last minute and somebody wins and overtime penalty, maybe not penalties, but somebody wins on a like dramatic goal and it's tight to fair. I think that's the best thing for the league in general. Just these two big heavyweights going at it and head toe to toe and some animosity and all that stuff. There's going to be a red card in at least one of those games. So. Probably Teo Hernandez. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Probably Teo or Arturo Vidal randomly.
Yeah. So, I'm excited. As long as it's good, like this last game was, man, it's going to be awesome.
What about you, Jerry? And obviously, I know it came at the expense of your Lazio today getting knocked out, but it's going to be pretty damn exciting to see a couple more matchup between Milan and Inter.
I'm actually reading an article that was kind of published last week, and it's making me laugh. And it's about Iglitare, actually. And
it's about you?
No, it's about him saying he was proud of the transfer window that Lazio just had.
What?
Yeah, I am proud to have made a great job during the last transfer window, which was one of the best ever in terms of sales. Bro, are you that delusional that you neglected? Okay, so you sold everybody, but you didn't bring a backup striker. You didn't improve the defense, and the only achievement is sales. Like that's it's horrible, man.
Great job, Jerry.
Jesus. Well, and also, and let me mention this: Jerry is doing more for the Lazio transfer market than their sporting director Iglitare is.
Oh yeah,
you've got your Indonesian agenda, bro. Jerry is trending in Indonesia because he started. I don't even remember the name of the player you started this agenda for, and then for some reason, some dopey news site thought you were reporting this player to Lazio, and then people. I can't even really explain what's going on.
Oh man, it's a tweet that I started where. I think an Inter fan kind of showed me a goal he scored that was like a throw-in, and I kind of promoted it. I was like, this. It was a night where Canada had beaten Honduras, and Jonathan David scored, and then I sent out the tweet. I was gonna delete it because thinking like, who's gonna even look at this thing?
An entire country.
I left it. And the next morning, I noticed that over 1,000 likes and like,
oh my god, 200
retweets. I was like, what the heck? My following had gone up by 500 in 2 days because of this, of that tweet, man. I was like, wow, all Indonesian people following me. From there, it became like articles reporting that Lazio are interested in this guy. It kind of blew out of it blew out of proportion, but now like. I you know what? Now I've gone all in, and I'm gonna promote this guy. We need a left back. I don't even care. I don't even care if he was good or not. Like,
how old is he?
He's like 20.
Oh, okay. He's old. I thought he was young, like a teenager. Man. I didn't. No, it's still young, but I thought he was even younger than that.
Yeah, exactly. But Yeah, never hurts, right?
Wow,
Like,
that's amazing. Yeah, because I kept seeing, I didn't really know the back. Like you and I talked on the phone earlier today. I was asking about because I didn't know the backstory. I just noticed that like people from Indonesia were like tagging Jerry in tweets that, hey, you are trending in my country, Jerry. You are the best trade. You are the Indonesian Fabrizio Romano. You are the man. Like stuff like that. I'm like, wow. I didn't I didn't understand what was going on, but this is absolutely fantastic. Well, Jerry, since I've got you on the spot here. You did have a tough match to watch today that ended with Milan, smacking Lazio around. 4-0 was the final. What went wrong, Jerry? What was missing from Lazio in this game?
um,
Everything.
pretty much the back end.
Yeah.
We need a better defense. Like, I actually said before the game that I would prefer not to start Patrick for this game, just given that I think that we have overachieved in the last. My computer's gonna die. Shit. Sorry guys, but we have over. Yeah, I need to spark up some battery.
That happens to
But
me all the
we
time on this show.
we kind of overachieved the last 4 games. I saw people are saying that Lazio haven't conceded a goal in 4 games, and Milan's the first team to break them down. Hold. Everyone has to hold their horses. We beat a Fiorentina team that is kind of shooked up and lost their best player, and kind of had to add new players into the fold, and it's like a new makeshift team. We beat a Salernitana team that had 11 starters out, and we kind of played their B team. We beat a Udinese team that decided to bench half their team, and we could only get 1 goal. But mind you, Udinese has been good this year, so I
Yeah.
won't take that away. And Atalanta, who had not 8 starters out,
Yeah.
and decided to park the bus and put 11 guys in a box. So, what do you think Lazio is going to get shutouts? Because these teams are not even attacking Lazio in the first place. So, but can't take away what Milan did, and they exposed a back end that is just not that good. Like it was all bad once Felipe took that reckless challenge and got the yellow card. I think that was like game over. Like your best defender is on a yellow, so now he has to alter his game the way he plays. He kind of and it looked like it kind of shook him up and it got into his head because Savage kind of gave him a few words to say like it happened. It was a stupid challenge in the first place, but you got to keep going. So now you got a player who's more cautious and can't take players down, can't be more physical. And whose side was this terrible? Garbage. I'm sorry. Like I'm not impressed with this
He
guy.
stinks.
He's not good, man. Like, oh God. He started off well and like he's just dipped off big time now. Like Marisic was bad today. He got outplayed like 5 or 6 times on the left side, at least. Patrick's Patrick. I'm not even gonna bash the guy because you know what you get with him. So, uh,
Don't bash Lucas Leiva either. We know how that happened.
he was okay today when he came off the bench. He wasn't an
Okay.
issue. But then again, these guys came in when the game was behind. I gave Luis Alberto man of the match for Lazio if there's any constellation prize because I liked his attitude when he came on the pitch where he came with the right attitude to try to help his team get back in the right direction, try to create something, try to get involved. He was trying to be that facilitator. It was just that he came into the game too little, too late. That was the problem. But I liked his fight where he showed that devotion, and that's what I want to see, right? I want to see something good out of this game. If I have to take something out, it's him. And I
Right.
said him and Lazio should have started this game. Like I don't understand why Lazio's not starting every game and not over whose side. Like the guy has pace. The guy can run. The guy can get back. Like we couldn't. It wasn't that Milan kind of forced us not to attack. It was that we never had that player who can start it for us. That was the issue. We didn't have a
Yeah.
guy who can control the ball, hold the ball, and move it. That was Alberto. Everyone thinks that Savage can be that guy. He's not that guy. That's not the type of game he plays. He's not the kind of guy who can like kind of advance the ball forward and get into areas. That's just not how he plays. Never been like that. But Tom Abasic, very bad in the first half.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people criticizing why do we make the signing all of a sudden, but for me, it's like at the end of the day, it's just a player where he just didn't match up properly, and he kind of has similar characteristics to what Savage can do, where he's physical inside the box, he can try to play the defense, but he's not a ball carry kind of player, right? So it was never going to be an exciting season. At the end of the day, it was going to be disappointment, but excitement. Like, it's never going to be consistent. I'm more curious to see what goes on in the summer, what the game plan is. Will he get backing? Will he not? Like, the future of this club, it's all in the hands of Lotito and what he wants to do, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, it's not all doom and gloomy either, because you got Europa League next week. You're still in Serie A, right, where you're still within distance of a top 4 spot, which is unrealistic. But until you're officially eliminated, you still have to have that faith and confidence in doing it. You got to look towards Bologna now, and you have to hope that it was just like Mauricio Sarri said. You have to hope that it was a one-off game and not a
pattern.
Not a pattern. Yeah, exactly. So 5 seasons I've seen this, and the reason why our back end wasn't as bad as it is this season is because we played in the back 3. And I'll always say this, I'll always repeat myself. Lucas Leiva created miracles plus Lucas Biglia. Okay? Those two created miracles for Lazio because they were that extra defensive that extra center back / D guy who really helped in the back end and kind of covered their deficiencies of what they had and their inability to have a good back end. So we've always had a good CDM to kind of like fill the void. So that's why I always rate Lucas Leiva as one of the best defensive players in his position. But when you go to a back 4 now, he's no longer able to do what he's so good at, and it kind of takes him away, and we're playing him out of position. So I don't know. On Saturday I thought we turned the corner, and Sarri had acknowledged that he was going to play to his players' strengths, and today I didn't see that. Today I kind of saw back to that passing, trying to get out of the back end. And I think this is Pepe Reina's last game with Lazio.
Oh,
probably.
God, I hope so. I mean, I think
he's done. He's really bad.
It's worse than Handanovic. I want to make Mario happy by making that clear.
Yeah,
not even close. You could have a player like with Pepe Reina as the replacement.
Yeah,
you get what you pay for.
Well, I want to give on this match. Let me give Richard Carmen the last word, the victor, before we wrap up this episode. Richard, from a positive sense for Milan, Rafael Leao has been fantastic lately. He was spectacular in this match.
Yeah, it was important, coming off a big game like the Derby, and with an important game against Sampdoria on the weekend, that they had a good training session today, and that the team acted like it was a game. And no, I'm just kidding. Sorry, Jerry. No, that Leao is really coming to his own this year. And first off, that pass by Romagnoli to him that set up the first goal was brilliant. But Leao, he is just on another level right now, and he has been one of the best players for Milan, especially in the attack. His change of pace cannot be matched by anybody. It doesn't matter who goes against him. Everyone knows what he's going to do, but they can't catch up to him when he just blows right by them. And he'll shoot. He has confidence now. He'll shoot. He'll go for the assist sometimes. We saw it with a couple goals this year already, or a couple assists, I should say, this year. And so he's just been out of this world, and that confidence seems to be growing and growing. I think, playing with Zlatan has helped him immensely, really. And now you watch that goal that he scored from the Romano assist. He was just smiling the whole time. Like, how do you not like this guy? He's in the middle of the play, just smiling, getting the ball, shooting, happy. He's always just happy and does his surfer celebration. Just when he's on his game, it makes Milan that much of a more dangerous of a team. And when he's off, it shows, because it seems like there's no creativity really. And until Brahim Diaz, picks up his work boots, it's going to be Leao or bust with Milan if they want to try to contend for the scudetto.
Do you think that he has his lack of defensive presence is a problem?
I definitely used to, and I think Pioli has adjusted to it, where they know that they'd rather not have him come back. I mean, sometimes he does come back and it's great, but for the most part, they'll have that, of the two pivots, whoever's on the left side, shadow with Teo Hernandez, because he's pretty bad defensively as well, and so he kind of helps them out a lot there. But Leao has picked up his game defensively recently, but for the most part, Pioli doesn't want him to come back. He's like, okay, you're not Rebic. Rebic will come back and do the work. Let him do his thing offensively. He comes back. It's a bonus, but they strategize their midfield so that they can shade over to Teo Hernandez's side to help him out, because that would be otherwise it used to be a big downside for Milan, and now it's been fixed by Pioli, and a lot of credit's got to go to him for that.
Jeremy Giambi died.
He did?
Really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Wow.
Was he younger than Jason or older?
He's
than
younger brother.
Younger brother. Oh, that's terrible. I mean, either way, it's bad. But I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. I'll kind of undo it. This man, Mario. Thanks for.
Sorry, I just saw it on Instagram.
Okay.
Very important.
UEFA. Hold on, I got this statement. I'm gonna say it, and I just want quick thought, and we'll end it here, I guess. UEFA has sold the TV rights for the 2024 to 2027 UEFA competitions for 15 billion euros.
Whoa.
A 40% increase over the current revenue.
Damn.
UEFA will keep 51% of those 15 billion euros for themselves.
We need a Super League. Can we get
And
a big, beautiful Super
Can
League?
you wait until I'm done writing this? You reading this, for fuck's sakes. Thank you. and give the clubs the remaining 49%.
Oh.
Hold on. What the fuck are you talking about, man? UEFA keeps 51%. Yeah, we care about the fans. We care about growing the league. We care about all the smaller clubs. We care about all that.
The Super League they care about.
Like, start the Super League, man. I'm pro
Start
Super
it.
League now. Like,
Let's
this
start.
is bullshit now, man. Like, bro, the UEFA only has one objective and one objective over. I was one of those guys who we're no Super League is not happening. We're good guys. No, I was wrong, man. UEFA has their own agenda. They don't give a shit about anybody. Like when that whole thing happened, when the Super League was gonna happen, UEFA basically said, "Yeah, we got to step in." Now, they look like scumbags to me, man.
Like FIFA, like any other organization.
Yeah, they're just
like I said, anywhere else.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Jerry. I love you. Can I? I'll let you go first if you have.
Raise your hand when you talk.
Proceed with caution.
I mean, he's right. I did cut him off. He's not wrong. I do that sometimes. I grew up a younger child, so I got my way a lot. I was the baby in the family. But Jerry, I know I think you've taken a few days off, as you should, because of your mild concussion. But I still have noticed you've been tweeting out stories and long form tweets these last couple of days. So do you want to promote anything?
I wrote a piece. I just tweeted out about Felipe Anderson and if it was a good signing or not by Lazio. I have an article on Simone Inzaghi, which is for Serpents of Modena, and kind of like why the transition was perfect. I should have got this done a while ago, but
should have got it done before the Milan Derby. It's going to be a little awkward reading that now.
No, I don't really care. And then I also wrote a piece on John Daniel Akpa-Akpro. I went for something different, his journey to becoming to getting into the top flight and how he's kind of defied the odds. So, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, other than that, that's about it for now.
He's got the best name in soccer.
Yeah, he really does.
Jumba Jumba.
Pretty
What
much.
about you, Mario? Always working hard with our very good friends at Inter Worldwide. I mean, Anthony Privatera he's a brother of ours, and our guy Mo. What are you guys working on there?
I don't know. They stopped inviting me.
Really?
They haven't invited me to Middle. I don't know. Same old, same old. I just be keeping it pretty
Because
simple.
you're spending too much time with Napoli Worldwide and Palermo Worldwide.
I should make up Palermo Worldwide. That's actually a good idea.
You should make a
I'm
spin
going to start it from the Serie C all the way to when we win Champions League.
Yeah, in 2090.
Exactly.
Wow. All right. Well, what about you, Richard Carmen? And you know that we're all big fans of you and Frank Crivello, the work that you guys do on the Serie A sit down. It's really one of the best shows out there. In fact, we're trying to make our show better to be on your level, like with the production elements and stuff. That's why we had to get our guy Raf Biz to step our game up. What are you and Frank working on these days?
I mean, I don't have the background that Mario has right now, I guess. But no, thank you. Yeah, no, Serie A sit down. We're obviously we do our podcast once a week. We're also trying to do more videos. And
Who's the cheerleader?
We did a Vlahovic video the other day about the signing with him, and then we're gonna probably do another couple more player profiles and try to do more of that stuff. And yeah, we got a lot of people coming on for the fan cams as well, which has been great. Great fun.
Houdini.
Does that mean the clothes are coming off?
Who's Houdini?
Yeah. But that's where you can find it. Syria, sit down. Follow us wherever.
This is Syria.
I can't compete with that.
This
Oh,
is
man,
Syria
that's too good.
Pornhub.
And you can find you can find all my stuff. First of all, on this channel, for anyone who may have been watching us here on YouTube for the first time or listening to our audio podcast for the first time, make sure you subscribe. If you're listening to the audio only version, I know more people listen than watch. So if you're listening to the audio only version, make sure you subscribe to our pod, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, any platform you get podcasts, you can find us there. And keep in mind, we do stream all of our episodes live on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube, search Calcio Connection, subscribe to our channel. We want to get that subscriber count like in the thousands if we can. I think we're in like the 300 or 400s now. We want to really take that to the next level. We also have a Patreon page, which is a way of supporting our work. It's mostly just me ranting about Inter on the Patreon page. Pretty much. We have some fun there. We have some fun there as well. And if you guys are interested in North American sports, I do a daily stream about 3 p.m. Eastern time on the 5 Reasons Sports Network YouTube channel. I have fun with that as well, covering mostly South Florida-based teams. That is where I am located. So huge shout out for our guests, Mario, for Richard Carmen, who's over that way. I never know if I'm pointing the right way. And, of course, my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, Jerry Mancini. We will talk to you guys again on the next episode of the Calcio Connection